Scene script. Have you ever paused to consider the health of our planet Earth? Just like us, our planet goes through shifts and changes, some natural and some unfortunately man-made, and just like us, it can fall ill with symptoms that are hard to ignore. So, let's take a moment to examine the current state of Earth's health. The diagnosis? It's not looking too rosy. Human actions have significantly contributed to a rise in pollution and climate change, with consequences that are far-reaching and dire. The Earth, our home, is running a fever. Global temperatures are on an upward trend, with the last 5 years being the warmest on record. And this isn't a temporary flu, it's a chronic condition that needs immediate attention. Meanwhile, our planet's icy extremities are retreating, and not just a little. The ice caps are melting at an unprecedented rate. In the Antarctic alone, an area larger than the size of the United Kingdom has disappeared in the last 50 years. And this isn't just about polar bears losing their homes, it's a symptom of a planet in distress. With the melting ice comes another symptom: rising sea levels. Our oceans are swelling, inching closer to our doorsteps. Island nations are at risk of sinking beneath the waves, and coastal cities are facing the threat of flooding. This isn't a dystopian future, it's a present reality. But before we succumb to despair, let's remember that a diagnosis is the first step towards healing. Yes, the Earth is ailing. Yes, the situation is severe. And yes, we humans are largely to blame. However, this also means that we have the power to change the course we're on. We can choose to be the disease or the cure. We can continue to deplete our planet's resources, or we can strive to replenish them. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are solutions, and they are within our reach. One of the biggest culprits affecting our planet's health is pollution. Pollution, in its many forms, has become an insidious presence in our lives. It seeps into the air we breathe, the water we drink, the soil that nurtures our crops, and even invades the tranquility of our nights with noise and light. Air pollution, a silent yet deadly enemy, is mainly caused by industrial and vehicular emissions. It's not just about the smog that obscures our skylines, but also the invisible particles and gases that can cause respiratory diseases and exacerbate conditions like asthma. In fact, air pollution is responsible for millions of premature deaths worldwide each year. Water pollution, on the other hand, is often a result of industrial waste, agricultural runoff, and irresponsible disposal of household chemicals. This type of pollution doesn't just affect aquatic life. It also poses a direct threat to human health when contaminated water is used for drinking, cooking, or bathing. Soil pollution, largely driven by industrial waste and chemicals used in agriculture, can lead to reduced soil fertility and contaminated crops. This can disrupt food chains and potentially lead to food shortages. Then there's noise pollution, a less visible yet pervasive problem. Constant exposure to high levels of noise can lead to stress, sleep disorders, and even heart disease. Finally, let's not forget about light pollution. Our cities are so brightly lit that we're losing sight of the stars. But it's not just about stargazing. Artificial light at night can disrupt the natural rhythms of both humans and wildlife. Behind all these forms of pollution, there's a common thread: human activity. Our industrial processes, our consumer habits, our relentless pursuit of growth, these are the engines that drive pollution. We have created this problem, yes, but that also means we can solve it. And to solve it, we need to confront our actions and their consequences. We need to rethink our relationship with the planet and take responsibility for its health. Because in the end, the health of the Earth is the health of us all. Scene script. Climate change is not just a buzzword, it's a reality that we need to deal with. Picture this: our planet is like a giant greenhouse. It's warm and hospitable, in large part because of a delicate balance of gases in our atmosphere. But what happens when that balance is disrupted? That's the conundrum we currently face. Carbon dioxide, one of these gases, has been increasing exponentially due to human activities, notably burning fossil fuels and deforestation. This has led to an intensification of the greenhouse effect, causing our planet to heat up, a phenomenon we know as global warming. Now let's delve into the effects. First off, extreme weather events. As our planet warms, we're seeing more intense and frequent heat waves, droughts, and storms. These events are not only devastating to the environment, but they also pose a significant threat to human life. Next, the loss of species. Increased temperatures and changes in weather patterns disrupt ecosystems, leading to a loss of biodiversity. The polar bear, a symbol of the Arctic, is just one of many species threatened by melting ice caps. These changes don't just affect the creatures involved, they disrupt entire food chains, with far-reaching effects. Lastly, and most concerning, are the threats to human survival. Rising sea levels due to melting ice caps threaten coastal communities. Unpredictable weather patterns disrupt agriculture, risking our food supply. And diseases that were once limited by climate are now spreading to new areas. But here's the thing. Pollution, especially air pollution, is a significant contributor to this climate change. Every time we burn fossil fuels, we're not just releasing harmful pollutants into the air. We're also adding to the carbon dioxide that's causing our planet to heat up. Undoubtedly, we're in a bit of a pickle. But let's not forget, we have the upper hand here. We have the knowledge and the means to reduce pollution and slow down the effects of climate change. The clock is ticking, but we still have time to turn things around. So, what can we do to heal our planet? Let's start with renewable energy. Harnessing the power of the sun, wind, and water is not only a viable solution, but it also has the potential to revolutionize our energy consumption patterns. The use of solar panels, wind turbines, and hydroelectric systems can drastically reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, significantly cutting down on greenhouse gas emissions. Now, let's move on to waste management. The mantra, reduce, reuse, recycle, isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a blueprint for a sustainable lifestyle. By minimizing our waste, repurposing items instead of discarding them, and recycling whenever possible, we can substantially decrease the amount of trash that ends up in our landfills and oceans. Sustainable farming is another critical component of the solution. By shifting towards organic farming practices, we can minimize the use of harmful pesticides and synthetic fertilizers, promoting soil health and biodiversity. Moreover, regenerative agriculture techniques can help sequester carbon, turning farms into carbon sinks rather than sources of emissions. But it's not just about the big picture. Changes in consumer behavior play an equally important role. Opting for a plant-based diet, choosing public transport or cycling over private vehicles, and purchasing products with less packaging are all small but significant steps towards a greener future. Of course, individuals and communities cannot do this alone. Businesses must step up and adopt sustainable practices, from sourcing materials responsibly to reducing energy consumption in their operations. Governments too have a crucial role in setting ambitious environmental policies, enforcing regulations, and providing incentives for green initiatives. In essence, healing our planet requires a concerted effort from all of us. It's a shared responsibility that transcends borders and generations. Whether it's installing a solar panel on your roof, composting your kitchen waste, or advocating for clean energy policies, every little action contributes to the bigger picture. Remember, every little action counts. We all have a part to play. To sum it up, our planet is facing a health crisis. It's a crisis that has been brewing for decades, a slow burn of pollution and climate change that is now reaching a critical point. Our beautiful blue globe, our home, is suffocating under the weight of waste and warming temperatures. We've talked about the many faces of pollution, the smoggy air we breathe, the plastic-filled oceans, the landfills overflowing with garbage. All of these are human-made problems, and they are slowly but surely choking the life out of our world. But pollution isn't just about physical waste. It's also about the invisible gases we pump into the atmosphere, the ones that are causing our planet to heat up at an alarming rate. Climate change, as we've discussed, is not just a buzzword, it's a reality, and it's happening now. The Earth's average temperature is on the rise, glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising, and extreme weather events are becoming the norm rather than the exception. Our actions are disrupting the delicate balance of our ecosystem, and the consequences are already being felt around the world. But it's not all doom and gloom. We've also explored the many solutions that are within our reach. From individual actions like reducing, reusing, and recycling, to collective efforts like adopting renewable energy sources and implementing sustainable practices, there is much we can do to reverse the damage. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. We are at a tipping point, and every moment of inaction pushes us closer to the edge. But there is still hope. If each one of us takes responsibility for our actions, if we make conscious choices that prioritize the health of our planet over convenience or profit, we can turn the tide. The task at hand is monumental, but so is the reward. A cleaner, healthier, more sustainable world for us and for future generations. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work. For ourselves, for our children, and for our planet.